You know that kind of pain that you carry inside and that no one notices. That tightness that has no name, that comes out of nowhere in the middle of the day, and that you try to hide with a smile or an everything is okay. Well, God saw it today. See now. He saw the tear that fell in the bathroom while you tried to be strong for everyone. He saw the weight you swallowed while taking care of others and forgetting about yourself. He saw what no one saw, not even the person sleeping next to him. There are days when we feel like we are screaming inside, but no one is listening. And the worst thing is that it's often not even due to a lack of people around. It's because there are pains that we've learned to hide so well that it almost seems like they're gone, but they are still there, weighing and getting tired more than the body, you know, tiring the soul. And I know maybe you're at that point right now, trying to keep everything going, trying to handle everything, but inside, begging for a little peace, for a sign, for something that says, you're not alone. It's going to be okay, and that's why you got here. Because, without even realizing it, your spirit was looking for a hug. And God, as He always does, responded. This message is for you who are fighting in silence, crying in secret, waiting for something that doesn't seem to come. For you who think you should be stronger by now, that you should have overcome it by now, but still wake up with a tight chest and an emptiness that no one understands. It's for you who, even though you're exhausted, haven't given up believing. Because those who have true faith sometimes get tired too. But God renews. And it is in that place, in that exact moment, when you no longer have strength that He acts. Because while you try to hold it all in alone, He just waits for you to let go. Let go of fear, pressure, control, and allow Him to take care of the part that you can no longer support. Now, answer me honestly. Have you ever felt like no one really understands what's going on inside you? Have you ever experienced that emotional silence that screams so loudly inside? Right here in the comments. I feel like God saw me today, and if you want, share how you're feeling right now. Sometimes writing down what we're feeling is the beginning of healing, and your courage can inspire others who are here, feeling exactly what you're feeling right now. You're not alone. God brought you here because He knew you needed to hear this today. So breathe, let go of that weight, and stay with me until the end. Because today, through Psalm 31, you will receive strength from heaven to continue. When we understand that God sees even what we hide, we also begin to understand that He does not do this by chance. He sees to take care. He sees to warn. He sees to prepare us. Because there is something bigger happening. And much of the pain we feel today is part of a time when everything is accelerating both in the visible and spiritual worlds. Maybe you're noticing this too. Things are getting more intense, emotions are running high, and the world is increasingly hectic. And it's not just an impression. There are signs everywhere. And more than ever, it's essential to be connected, aware, and informed about what's happening around us, not just with the eyes of the flesh, but with the eyes of faith. Because when the world seems to be falling apart, only those who have strengthened themselves from within remain standing. So if this video touched your heart in any way, don't keep it to yourself. Leave your like, because this way YouTube understands that this content is important and sends it to more people who also need to be reminded that they are not alone. And if you're not yet subscribed here to the channel, sign up now. We are living in times that call for more than distraction, they call for discernment. And here you will find direction, spiritual strength, understanding of the Word, guided prayers and messages that will prepare you for what is to come. Because more than ever, God is calling those who have ears to hear. So activate the bell, stay close, and share this video with someone you know who also carries pain that they don't reveal. Maybe this video is exactly what they prayed for today. Now, take a deep breath, because what comes next will show you that even when it seems like everything is falling apart, God is still in control. You may not even realize it, but the simple fact that you are here, listening to these words with an open heart, already shows that something inside you is awakening. Because when the soul is tired, it seeks shelter in God, with all His love, always prepares a place where you can rest in peace and find strength. And look, it doesn't matter if you've always kept everything to yourself. Today is the day to allow yourself to feel, speak, and breathe more lightly. Here, you don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. You can just be you, with your doubts, your pain, your half-faded hope, and still be seen and cared for by God. Tell me in the comments which part of the video has touched you the most so far. Or, if you prefer, just write, "I needed to hear that." This is a way for you to connect with other people who, like you, are looking for relief and answers. Sometimes a simple sentence from you can be an answer for someone. Now stay with me, because you will realize that Psalm 31 was not written by chance. It is a mirror of your soul. It's hard to put into words what happens inside us when our soul begins to be welcomed. It's as if, even without understanding everything, something inside our chest becomes lighter. And even though the problems are still there, you begin to feel that you're not facing everything alone. Psalm 31 speaks to those in this exact place. When David wrote, he was not in the best place in his life. He was surrounded, afraid, feeling forgotten. But he wrote anyway, "In you, Lord, I take refuge. Never leave me confused." This is a prayer that comes from the bottom of the heart. And maybe today, it will be yours too. And tell me, have you ever felt like you were doing everything right, but things still don't go as planned? Comment here. It seems like no one understands me. And if you have the courage, tell us, what do you need to hear from God right now? Your answer could be the thing that unlocks something inside you and inspires others who are also silent. This is the moment when we no longer look for an explanation. We seek presence, and God is here, like you. Now, when we begin to feel this presence, even without explanation, it is as if something inside us says, "You are being heard," and that in itself changes everything. Because what really hurts isn't just the pain itself. It's the silence after the pain, the feeling that no one realizes how hard you are trying to keep going. This is why Psalm 31 hits so deep, because it doesn't come as a ready-made answer, but as a hug to the soul of those who are tired of being strong. David did not hide his pain from God. He showed it. He spoke. He opened up. And you can too. Right here in the comments, "I need this refuge," and if you can, share. In what part of your life do you feel you need rest? Is it in your heart? In your body? In your mind? Your vulnerability can be healing for someone who is also here, seeking exactly this exchange. Faith is not about looking good all the time. It's about knowing who to turn to when everything weighs heavily. And you've just arrived at the right place. And when you understand that you don't need to hide your pain from God, something changes. Because you start to pray differently. Stop speaking in fear. Stop mincing words and simply surrender. And it is in this sincere delivery that Psalm 31 transforms. It stops being a read text and becomes a living cry from your own soul. Deliver me quickly. David didn't use pretty words. He was direct. He needed urgent help. And maybe that's what you need today. A relief that does not delay, an answer that does not fail, a strength that comes from above. Tell me here in the comments, how would you like God to answer you now? In silence? With peace? With a clear signal? Write freely. And take the opportunity to comment. Today, I surrender my tiredness, because sometimes, just by getting it out there, the weight starts to come off. You don't need many words. It just needs sincerity. Because God is not impressed by beautiful phrases, but moves before true hearts. When you pray with your heart wide open, even God's silence takes on a new meaning. He is not an absence. He is a presence that teaches. And sometimes, heaven is silent just to show you that even in the silence, he is still there standing firm, watching, caring, sustaining you in ways that you don't yet realize. It's as if he said, "Daughter, breathe. I'm already acting, even if you don't see it yet." And this truth changes the way you wait. You stop demanding God's time and begin to rest in the certainty that everything has its purpose. Even this pain is there. Until now, it has. Now tell me here in the comments, what was the silence of God that taught you the most? Sometimes the answer you thought never came was in what you learned while you waited. Also comment, even without understanding, I continue to trust, because real faith is born there when you don't see, but still believe. This psalm was made for this type of faith, and you are exactly where you need to be. God didn't bring you here by chance. And when you realize that God has not abandoned you, even in silence, a strength begins to emerge that you didn't even know you still had. Because his presence doesn't take away the problem right away, but it sustains you until it passes. And that already changes everything. You stop walking for what you feel and start walking for what you believe. This is where faith stops being theory and becomes practice. You start to breathe differently, think differently, speak differently. Even though it still hurts, something inside you calms down, because now you know God is in this process. He didn't take you out of the fight, but he entered you into it. Tell me here in the comments, what do you feel is changing within you after this prayer? It may be small, but it's a sign. And he also comments, I am being strengthened from within, sometimes just by saying it out loud. The soul begins to believe it. It's not about winning everything now. It's about not giving up in the middle. And just by you being here until now, God is already renewing you. It is through this internal strengthening that you begin to see things more clearly. Not because everything got better outside, but because something got right inside. And what used to easily destabilize you, you now face more firmly. God begins to reorganize your mind, and where there was fear before, now courage begins to sprout. A gentle but constant courage. A peace that does not scream, but sustains. You no longer have to pretend you're fine. You just need to continue being true to God and to yourself. Because he honors those who remain, even without applause, even without recognition, even when no one sees. Now comment here honestly. At what point in your life did you most need to pretend you were fine? It might be something only you know. And if you want, you can also write, today I choose to be true, because when you allow yourself to be real, heaven responds with real care. God's presence requires no mask. He loves you exactly as you are, and he cares for even the parts you've tried to hide from everyone else. And when you decide to be true to God, without hiding your weaknesses, a beautiful thing starts to happen. He shows you that it was never about being perfect. It was always about being a daughter. And daughter doesn't need to prove anything. Daughter just needs to trust. Because his love does not depend on your strength, but on your delivery. It is in this place of intimacy that healing happens. Not that magical cure that disappears from one moment to the next, but the one that gives you back the joy of living, even in the midst of challenges. The one that reminds you that you still have value, even when you feel invisible. Comment here, what was the moment in your life when you felt most invisible, even when surrounded by people? And if this video is helping you in any way, right? God is healing something in me today, because when you declare, you activate. And your declaration can touch someone who is about to give up. God sees you, and that is enough to start over with more lightness and faith. When you understand that being seen by God is more important than being seen by others, the way you deal with pain changes completely. You stop seeking approval from those who never understood your heart and start to value the gaze of those who know even your most hidden thoughts. God saw you in your darkest days. He saw you lying on the pillow, trying to hold back your tears so as not to worry anyone. He saw you smiling on the outside and screaming on the inside. He saw you in silence, but he heard everything. And it is in this silence full of silent screams that he acts, not with noise, but with presence. He doesn't need a stage to lift you up. He enters the secret, touches you where no one else touches you, and restores parts of you that you didn't even remember existed. Because what the world calls weakness, God calls a place of miracles. He doesn't reject you because you're broken. On the contrary, he approaches with more love. You don't have to carry all of this alone. God never created you to endure life alone. He wants to teach you to share the burden, to trust, to rest in him. Because as long as you're trying to be strong all the time, you'll continue to be exhausted. But when you learn to depend on him, his strength begins to work in you, and that transforms everything. Now, right here in the comments, I recognize it. I need help. This is one of the most powerful statements you can make today. It's not weakness, it's liberation. And if you have the courage, share it with us. In which area of your life have you been feigning strength? It could be in relationships, faith, finances, emotional health. Whatever it may be, putting it into words is the first step to letting God act profoundly. Because as long as you hide your pain, God respects your silence. But the moment you show your truth, heaven moves. This prayer with Psalm 31 was not by chance. It was an answer. It was a meeting. And you are no longer alone. If this video touched you in any way, it means you are exactly where you needed to be. God brought you here because there is something new being generated within you. And if this message spoke to your heart, be part of this space of healing, faith, and transformation. Subscribe to the channel now and join us in the next meetings. For those of you who stayed until the end, right here in the comments, I was reached by that word. This strengthens your statement of faith and also inspires others who are reading and experiencing silent struggles like you. And prepare your heart, because in the next video, you will understand why certain doors have closed and how this is part of God's plan to lead you to something greater. It's revealing, and it will bring you clarity where there is still confusion today. See you there, because those who walk with faith do not walk alone.